Hey y'all, welcome to episode number 2 of Wheelchairs Have No Boundaries Outdoors. Uh, Today's discussion and topic is fishing lures. Just a random chit chat of stuff I've got in and around the house. That I want to show you. That's just, content. First up, I found a lure company on Instagram called Sasquatch Lure Company. Okay. They make these musky chatterbaits they have a treble hook on them. They're connected by, see how they're connected? You got the blade. They're tied direct to the blade, but they're like musky fortified. They're a $10 chatterbait. Of course, tried and true, black and blue. And I have their version of shad. Now, as I said, this is a lure company that I believe it's out of Canada. I did buy a shirt to go with the hat, but it's not no 2X. So, look at that. So it's got a bullet weight, probably tungsten. How it's wrapped and wired. And then you got your clip to tie onto your blade. But what's interesting about these chatterbaits is right there. Treble hook. That is what I like. Because you don't know how many times you go to Hennepin Hopper, which is going to open up in April, I heard. Paul Clay told me April. It's going to open up early. You will literally have a northern grab your chatterbait and swing everything you got into that fish with a 40-pound Power Pro, and it just hook comes out. Well, a lot of things about a chatterbait is when a fish grabs a chatterbait, the blade turns sideways in the fish's mouth. So fish grabs it, closes his mouth. His mouth has got the blade turned that way. With a single hook model chatterbait, so it'll turn the owner hook sideways in his mouth. So a big mama will hit you on the bank, and the minute she hits you, she dives straight out to deep water, past your bow of your boat. Comes up, makes one jump, shakes her head, and the bait's gone. That's because when she ate it, the bait turned sideways in her mouth, and when you set the hook, it just slid straight out. Alright, that's a certain time of year that this will happen, and it's coming up. When big mamas move up on the bank, in the area that they're going to make their spawning beds. Now, this ain't off the spawning bed information. This is off the general area that they're going to spawn. This is tried and true, truthful fishermen talking intel, because it's happened to me, Chad, Justin, and we've discussed this plenty of times. So with the evergreen rod that I was using, the parabolic bend of the rod kept tension in the lure and in the fish's tension in the mouth. But they would just come and go, hit it, deep water, or in front of your trolling motor, one jump, kaboom, up and out. I'll tell you what's really cool is when the guy in the back of the boat gets one, they go right under the boat and come up and jump, and the line's all the way underneath the boat. That's a really cool situation. Then you sit back and say, well, kid, I told you so. Well, that's how I was. But Sasquatch Lure Company, I'm not sure what the name of the baits are, but I got them. Ain't nothing else to say about it. I'm impressed. I am impressed with that right there. You got money. You got 3 times the hookup power. And on Northern Pike, as I said, I've seen this time after time, but you know what? You hook a big muskie, tiger muskie, on your adventures out there in the great outdoors of Fulton County, and you have a tiger come up and jump totally out of the water, you're going to be crying. Okay, next up, bait. I want to profile my good friend Paul Clays of Dynamite Baits out of Chillicothe, the madman of Chile. Now, I got onto Paul with my buddy over 10 years ago. My first experiences with chatterbaits is when Z-Man came out. And then, during the beginning years of Z-Man, Paul came out with a bait. And then I got onto it, and I started having serious success. And Black and Blue is true and tried. Hey, Raymond, take this out of the package.
Sure.
I'm gonna have Raymond take it. My partner in crime is right here, Raymond.
Hello. Hi.
All right, Raymond, just get the package.
You
Right,
got
the
it.
package. All right, it's stapled in there. Keep the bag, but tear the lure off the paper.
All right.
And give me the paper. Set it right down there. Just rip it off. It's stapled. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Put the paper right there, white paper. All right. This is a Dynamite Bait by Paul Clays. Available at Presley Outdoors. See how he's connected? He uses a spinnerbait blank when he pours, so you got an owner hook, cone cut hook, which got a great sharpness and maintains sharp. He's got copper tied skirts and rubber band skirts. The copper tied skirts, when you get a private order, cost a little bit more. And then he's got a black blade. He's got probably 20 colors of blades. Then you got your attachment. Okay? Dynamite Baits. Black and Blue tried. Now listen. I used these baits on InFisherman TV 5 years in a row. And Paul's bait was on the cover of InFisherman magazine. Yes, I filmed 5 years of InFisherman TV in Fulton County at different lakes with Doug Stange, one of the biggest honors of my life. I was known as the chatterbait guy, the Chef Todd, the Fulton County Big Bass Guru. The chatterbait made me a better fisherman. Out of all the fishing techniques, I like throwing this bait. It's easy. You feel the vibration in the tip of your rod. I was Rods Pacific, an Evergreen Bred Height, Evergreen Combat Stick, any good quality bait cast reel, but it was meant to use fluorocarbon on the rod, but I could never get the hang of it. I missed too many fish at the beginning, so I went to 20-pound braid, and Dynamite Baits was part of my success in Fulton County. Now these are available at Presley Outdoors over Riverside and Pekin. But Paul's not on Facebook. He just got married, so he's whooped. He's whooped now. He's not on social media at all. And he had a heart surgery a while back. He's got some little things to tweak out. But one thing he don't got to tweak out, Paulie, is I'm proud of my boy, is his bait. Tried and true. Paul started making lures when he was a kid. Because he grew up and didn't have things. But he was like a MacGyver. He tied his own flies, made his own spinners, spinner baits. And then he elevated. He has a real job, so he doesn't need to do this for a living. But he does, because he's got a little following at Presley Outdoors. Now, if you go to Presley's, of course they're going to want you to go over and buy a Z-Man jackhammer. Well, they're $15. You can get 3 at Paul for the same price as one jackhammer that the kid with the pistol behind his ear is going to recommend, saying he likes that bait better. No names mentioned here, but jackhammer ain't shit in my book. Z-Man, after I did this bait on In-Fisherman, and Paul's bait was on the cover of In-Fisherman, they sent him a cease and desist letter. If you quit making a bait like ours, we'll sue you. Well, now there's a contract. Their days of suing people are over. There's a 10-year lapse, so they can't threaten people no more. Mm-hmm. Everybody and their brother has got a chatterbait from California to Maine. I'm currently satisfied with Dynamite Baits right here in Chillicothe. Let me tell you something. I bought a lot of Z-Man. They never told me thank you for buying their bait, but Paul Clays has. So look it up, Dynamite Baits. And I have a red one to show you. Okay? Now there's a little craze going on. Rayburn Red, Tomato Craw, Falcon Lake Red, Craw. Reds are in the color arsenal. Here's what Terry Brown told me a long time ago. If you got a bait on the bottom, it's showing, it's identifying as a crawfish. And if you got a bait moving through the water column, you're identifying it as a bait fish. And what he also said is, what do you think Black and Blue's imitating? A crawdad or a bluegill? Because I've heard many of pros and Elite Series guys with different opinions. And I'm going to go with what Terry Brown says of Wired to Fish, because he's a damn good fisherman. And I totally respect him. And Terry's with me. On the bottom, a crawfish. In the water column, a bluegill. So whether you throw a black or blue on the bottom as a jig, and don't think You can't work that as a jig. I've done it thousands of times. I actually caught my biggest bass with Mike Hitchcock at on his property, an 8-8. I was yo-yoing this bait in deep strip pit water, and that's how I caught my fish. But there's your answer. You can use it on the bottom like a crawdad or a jig. Swim it through the water when the blade's just thumping on your rod tip. You're imitating bait fish. Now, crawdads, do they swim through the water column? Yes, but probably not far off the bottom. So, try to not do it fast. Everybody has the tendency to throw this chatterbait too fast. I like to feel that thump of the blade. And the evergreen rod is specifically built for the blade thump. That's why I bought it a long time ago. Yep. It all started with called a leopard rod. It was like a $1,000 rod from Japan. Now Evergreen has evolved in a new series of $200 rods. You can get them at Tackle Warehouse or any online place. Tackle Warehouse. Hard to find things, Tackle Warehouse. Enough said. You're not going to find them at Press Out Evergreen Rods and Presley's because they're not good enough for the Banner Marsh series and Spring Lake guys. So, folks, that's my little intel on chatterbaits. I'd like to throw chatterbaits on 20-pound braid Parapro, but if I'm going around, I usually got a rod, a couple evergreen rods, one with 20, and one with 40. 2 rods. If I know I got bigger muskies or tigers round, I got a STX Shimano reel. I was very happy with that reel. STX. They're a $100 reel. I never had the one with the computer chip. I had the lower grades because I was a poor-ass white boy. But now, if I was out there like I used to be, I'd been fishing Daiwa Tatoulises because I did break a few Shimanos. Shimano's a great reel. Been fishing it since I was a kid. But Daiwa's got a good reel. And if you look in the Elite Series and MLF, majority of the guys are fishing Daiwa. And I'm a firm believer on Brett Ayler. And he highly recommends it, and Ish Monroe. Ike Canelli's a Berkeley guy. Doesn't it kind of seem like Ike Canelli fell out of the limelight? Yeah. I respect Brett Chapman, Scott Martin. They're some of my favorites. Kevin's out now. He's retired. He went down as a king, but now Jacob Wheeler's coming up, and Jacob Wheeler's going to be the remainder of my life, the top of the heap, because he's a front-face live scoping king in my book. But today, that's where we're at. I did a little chatterbait thing. Also, oh my God, I can't believe I almost forgot. On these baits, the CZ man used to get that little split tail eel with it. And then came along Gary Yamamoto, Zaccos. You ask Chad Parker or Justin Slick, who had the first Zaccos in Peoria? And by a case, I did. Who had the first paddle tails in Peoria? Zaccos. I did. After I pounded it in Kelly Presley's head. Zaccos. Now, I highly recommend a normal Zacco on these, but always buy a pack of both. If you buy black and blue, buy a black and blue paddle tail. Buy a black and blue straight tail. Same with green pumpkin, chartreuse white, shad. They don't got no bubble gum. There's some guys out there making it. But they're nice. But I highly recommend a Zacco. It's the only thing to go. In a pinch, you don't think you can't put a Senko on this. Yeah, that's pretty cool too. And I've been known to put pink lizards and lizards all together on the back. I've used lizards, I've used Senkos, I've used craws, but, you know, if I'm mostly going for the fish vibe of the chatterbait coming to the water, I'm going Zacco. If I'm near the bottom, lizard, craw, that's my vibe. But also, I was always the type of dude that always sprayed everything with scent. Shad. But why would you put a shad spray on something you're imitating the fish? I match up my fish, shad. If I'm doing a shad, similar process of fishing pattern, and crawfish, if I'm keeping it near the bottom pattern. In my opinion, when a bass eats a bladed jig, that's the technical name of this, a bladed jigs, they are going to hold on a little bit more, so no fat guy can get the hook set in better. I mean, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be 60 years old. Man, now I'm an old timer. And I've got some more fishing to catch, but it ain't like it was. That's why here at Wheelchairs Have No Boundaries Outdoors, we're educating about fishing and the knowledge. Because I'm going to tell you something. Fishing is endless. You just don't YouTube and Google and get onto it right. You have to put time on the water and have a 5-pound bass come up and eat your bait when you're pulling your bait out of the water right by the boat. You have to reel your chatterbait in and see 5-6 pounders right behind your bait, and be like, oh my God, look at that. They're wolf packing. You have to experience wolf packing, both side bait bites, muskies, tigers, a massive dogfish fight, pike fight, and don't think these chatterbaits in the upcoming month will catch gigantic crappies. And if you got bluegills big enough to eat them, they will. Okay, Paul makes them in 1/4 ounce up to 3/8 ounce. And he makes musky chatterbaits. They're pretty good. And he's got this harebrained idea. He's got them up to 2 ounces. He made some saltwater fish with them. And he caught some fish in the Philippines when he went down and met his wife. But here in Fulton County and around the nursing home, me and Raymond always stick with dynamite baits, black and blue. From the river to Glen Oak Park to Hooked on Fishing to Blue Lakes in Canton or the Giant Goose Ranch past the prison. My boy Nate Herman always takes care of the Fat Chef. So, this is Chef Todd and Raymond from the studio of Appearing Care, Room 43, with this week's Chatterbait tip. We got more coming up, and so hang in there. Hope you enjoyed the content. Hope you learned something. If anybody's ever got a question, send me a personal message or call me. Or come by and visit. Chit Chat Bass Fishing. Me and Raymond are here. We always got something to drink. Anybody's welcome to come by. You ain't got to worry about COVID or nothing. You might see a couple loony bins walking up and down the hallway, but they won't hurt you. We got a spear. We'll schlock them. As Tim Wells says. We'll schlock them. All right, Chef Todd. Folks at home and folks at home. Send it!